Thank you for your interest in the Civil War and Reconstruction Governors of Mississippi Project, or CWRGM. CWRGM is part of a project to make nearly 20,000 documents that span the period from the Secession Crisis to the early Jim Crow South, accessible and usable to researchers, educators, and others. A vital part of this process is transcribing these documents. This video is designed to help you get started on the transcription process and answer some of the questions you will encounter while transcribing. To get started, please visit the CWRGM.org homepage. You can explore this site to familiarize yourself with the project. To begin transcribing, you will want to go to the About tab and select the Protocols page. This page includes several protocols for the project, but you will want to familiarize yourself with the transcription protocols specifically. This button will take you to our protocols, which you will want to keep handy while you work. The protocols visible here are simply the rules and guidelines we follow when transcribing documents. Following these standards will help create uniformity between the transcriptions of different documents. Once you are familiar with the transcription protocols, you are ready to begin transcribing documents. Transcription occurs at the website fromthepage.com. You will need to create a free account to access the project. If you need help creating an account, please refer to the supplemental video entitled Creating a From the Page Account. Once you have an account, sign in to begin working. Select the Sign In option here. Then enter your login credentials here and select Sign In. Once you have signed in, you will select the Find a Project icon here. In the Search for Collections search bar located here, type Mississippi and select Search. Select the project labeled Civil War and Reconstruction Governors of Mississippi. This will take you to the documents that are available for transcription. This video will feature 2 documents to highlight some of the common issues you will encounter while transcribing. We will begin with this letter from J.B. Williams. To transcribe the document, ensure that you have selected the Transcribe tab located here. This will allow you to view and manipulate the document in the left-hand side of the screen and type in the right-hand side of the screen. When transcribing, you are largely mimicking what you see in the document. If the author misspelled a word, capitalized something, included an extra word, you will do the same in your transcription. For example, this author wrote Alabama as ALA period. Consequently, ALA period is what you will transcribe Alabama as. Also, you will note that a seal appears at the top of this document. So you would likewise note its presence in the transcription by writing seal in brackets at the top of this document. Note the spacing in the transcription here as well. Everything in the transcription is left justified, even if it is right justified in the document, such as the date line here. You will also observe that the heading noting the place, date, and recipient of the letter are all grouped together. Then a line break is added after the heading and after the opening salutation. You will also observe another line break is added after the body of the text and before the closing salutation. These are the only line breaks that you will include. Do not add a line break at the end of each line. Instead, type the body of each paragraph continuously, like this. When you encounter an insertion or a word or phrase added in above a line, you will also note that in your transcription. To do this, put a caret before and after the word or phrase being inserted. This will denote the beginning and the end of what is being inserted. For example, the word in is being added in between the words being and this. If you look at the transcription, you'll note that the word in is included inside of these carets to denote that it is an insertion. You can see a second example of this with the word be being inserted here as well. We use a standard em dash when transcribing. An em dash functions similarly to a comma, colon, or parentheses in the text, and you can view an example of an em dash here. We will similarly preserve this em dash in our transcription. To create an em dash, you will hold down the Option key, Shift key, and minus key on a Mac. To make an em dash on a PC, you will hold down the Alt key, the Control key, and the minus key. You can view an example of an em dash in our transcription here and here. You will note that there are no spaces before or after the em dash. This is standard. Whenever you use an em dash in transcriptions for this project, it will always appear tight against the surrounding text. If you are looking at this document, you will also note the author's use of hyphenated words. Hyphens are different than em dashes. They function to join words together. For example, in this text, the author has joined together firearms, pictured here. Anytime you encounter a hyphen, you will transcribe it as a hyphen simply using the minus key. For example, firearms is transcribed here. You will also use hyphens to denote when a word is broken between two lines. For example, the word greater here. Greater has been broken between two lines and therefore needs a hyphen in the transcription to denote where it ended on one line and began on another. You can see this here. While this author used a hyphen to denote the broken word in the original document, right here, you would still insert a hyphen into the transcription even if this author had not provided one in the original document. The one exception to this is sometimes authors will use an equal sign here in place of a hyphen. If you encounter an equal sign being used, you will also then use an equal sign in your transcription instead of a hyphen. If you encounter a word you cannot decipher, denote the unclear word with a question mark inside brackets. For example, this word at the bottom of the page is not clear. So in the transcription, use a bracketed question mark to denote its placement in the text. If you believe you know the word, but you are not confident, include the word you believe it is inside the brackets alongside the question mark. For example, if I believe this word was gov, I would add gov here before the question mark. If a smudge or a smear marks the word illegible, rather than using a question mark, you will use the unclear tag like this. Looking at this letter from R.P. Willing, you will note that the D after February 23rd is superscripted. Anytime you encounter text like this, you will need to denote it in your transcription. We do this following a series of codes. For example, to superscript the D, you need to write the code around the D here. This includes the letters SUP inside of the greater than and less than symbol, and in order to end the superscription following the letter D, you'll include \SUP here. All code follows the same format. If the text was subscripted, you would follow the format using the code SUB highlighted here. If the text was bold, you would follow this example: italicized, underlined. You can see an example of underlined text in this letter here with the author's name. So you'll note that I've used the underline code around R.P. Willing here. If a phrase or word, or even a letter, has a line through it, you'll use the code to strike out the words. If the author combines multiple forms of these, for example, underlining and superscripting text, you will need to denote both of these as well. Keep the order consistent. For example, on the TH for February 19th, I start with the superscript, then the underline. Include whatever text needs to be both superscripted and underlined here, and then end them. ending the underlining first, and then ending the superscript. To view your work, you can go to the Overview tab. And you can see how it's superscripted, subscripted, bolded, italicized, underlined, struck through the text, and done both of those here. Remember that we are largely preserving the text as we see it. If the word "and" is written out, you will likewise write out the word "and." If the author uses an ampersand or any form of an ampersand, you will denote it using the ampersand as well, not a plus sign. Preserve misspellings, punctuation, and capitalization errors in the transcription. For example, company is misspelled in this text. Likewise, company is misspelled in the transcription. Both of these examples are missing the N. 60 is capitalized, as are other words in this text. Therefore, 60 is capitalized in the transcription. Some of the sentences in this document are missing periods at the end of those sentences. Therefore, you should not include a period in the transcription. If the author uses a comma instead of a period at the end of a text, you should likewise use a comma. There are a few notable exceptions to this idea, however. You may encounter a symbol called the long S. It looks like this. It denotes two S's in the text, so this word is actually transcribed as MISS, seen here. If you encounter a person's initials written without a space between them, you will still include a space. For example, if there had not been a space in between the JJ and JJ Pettis here, you would still transcribe it using a space. It would be J period space J period Pettis. A few final things to keep in mind. Don't forget to select the Save Changes button while you work. If you miss a word or incorrectly transcribe a word, it is okay. CWRGM's research team reviews all documents to catch as many errors as possible. This video has covered many of the issues that commonly arise when transcribing. But if you forget one of these rules or encounter something not covered in this video, refer to the transcription protocols. It has many more instructions and examples for how to transcribe these documents. Finally, if you come across an issue or have a question, please reach out to us. You can reach us via email at cwrgmproject@gmail.com. Our email is also located in our homepage of From the Page. Thank you for your commitment to the Civil War and Reconstruction Governors of Mississippi project, and happy transcribing.